Hello everyone, Mr. Nash here.
And Ms. Bibber Johnson, and we're here today to talk about development.
And this particular video is going to be a little bit more on counterclaims. If you looked at any of the structure section, we talked a little bit about how to plan for a counterclaim in your paper. This video is going to be all about how to write an exceptionally good counterclaim. It's really, really important because this is kind of like where you put the icing on the cake. Like you've made a really good argument, but now you get to tell why the other side is wrong.
This is where we're going to teach you how to use those red herrings really well and use the slippery statistics well and that kind of stuff in your paper.
It's like the slam dunk. So you see over here, this is where you get to put the exclamation point, the dunk at the end of the game.
Yeah.
All right. So there are three parts to a good counterclaim paragraph. So you've already learned that you should plan a body paragraph for a counterclaim in your paper. So you might have three regular body paragraphs and a fourth body paragraph that's just for your counterclaim.
And that can be interwoven, as we said, anywhere within your paper, but you really need to have that paragraph that stands out. You'll start that paragraph with your topic sentence, which just kind of states what the opposite claim is, the one claim that you're going to bring in that's opposing, and then you're going to do what we call a rebuttal. You're going to explain why that thinking or that claim is wrong, and this is where you want to try to bring in either those red herring ideas or those slippery statistics or just something that maybe was said on the other side that doesn't quite make sense or that you find fault with, that you can explain in a way that makes that side look like it's not. It may look good, but it's really not good once you start to really look and think about the evidence of what the other side is arguing.
So the counterclaim is one sentence where you just state the opposing claim. Then most of your paragraph should be explaining why that particular claim is wrong.
The rebuttal.
I would pick one. There might be many claims the opposite side might make, and there might be many reasons that could be wrong. I think for this, it's best to pick one that you can really work against. Like pick one claim and then have multiple reasons why it's wrong. The more evidence that you can include in your rebuttal, statistical evidence that you can include, the stronger your rebuttal will be.
So when you start thinking about the opposite points of view, you really think about which is the strongest opposite point of view that you can make as your rebuttal in this paragraph. And then you can weave the other ideas in elsewhere if you want to and if you get to that stage. But you really want to focus on that one strong rebuttal.
The last sentence of your counterclaim paragraph should be a link back, where it's just one sentence again at the end, like your concluding sentence, and you should kind of like, you're talking about the other side here and why it's wrong, and then you kind of have to get back into like why you're right. So like linking it back to why your position is different and why your position is the correct one. So let me show you just a quick example of this, and I've color coded it so you can see that in the next slide my counterclaim opening sentence will be blue, my rebuttal will be green, so you can see how I've done that, and then my link back would be in red. So take a look at this. So you can see here in my example, like I said, that there's three colors, and Mrs. VJ will read this to you, and pay attention to my blue is my opening sentence where I address the opposite claim, the green is where I say why it's not really true, and then my red is where I've linked it back to my argument.
And the topic here is school uniforms. So the opening topic sentence, some might argue that a dress code would eliminate freedom of expression for students, but that isn't true. Dress code policies already restrict expression such as the length of clothing or hair color. If freedom of expression is the argument, then shouldn't these policies not be allowed either?
So there's one, so you can pause right there, there's one reason. So I've stated one reason why this argument is flawed. Now I'm going to go into another
rebuttal, and then here's the next.
Here's another reason. I use a transition. I'm just going to state another reason now.
Yeah, notice Mr. Nash's transition. In addition, students only spend a small portion of their time in a school building. There is plenty of other time in a student's life where they can express themselves through their clothing.
Okay, so that's reason number two. So I'm actually going to include a third reason why this claim against my point of view is wrong.
Okay, and notice the transition again. Finally, many work environments have a certain expectation for appropriate dress. Having students wear uniforms doesn't eliminate expression. It prepares students for career expectations. This argument against uniforms is flawed and not a true reason for negating the possible benefits school uniforms would bring.
So see now, this red sentence here, I've kind of summed up my argument that it's flawed, and then we're just kind of like nudging the reader back toward the fact that I'm arguing that there's actually benefits that school uniforms would bring. I don't have to state a lot of reasons about that. I'm just kind of, again, it's sort of like a transition sentence, so I could then go back into my argument and it wouldn't feel choppy.
Okay. And point out in the rebuttal section, again, notice Mr. Nash has those three transitions, so you can clearly see he's got three rebuttals to his case here.
Yep. So this is all it is. So it's just to make it very clear, you're not stating the opposite side and why it's good. You state the opposite, a claim the other side could make, and then explain why it's wrong in that middle section. Then finally wrap it up and link it back to yours. So I want you to try this strategy out with this particular topic. We're going to write your own counterclaim paragraph. So I should see in this work that you're doing, I should see the three clear sections, that you have your counterclaim stated, like some people might say this, but in fact that's wrong. Then explain why it's wrong, and then wrap it up and like relate it back to the fact that there was another side and that's the correct viewpoint.
And we're going to have you write on cell phones this time. Since we've been doing a lot of writing on cell phones, we want to see you write on cell phones now. So allowing cell phones in school would cause students to be distracted from learning.
So actually what you're going to do, this is going to be the claim you're arguing back against. So your first sentence should be something like, some might say that cell phones are distracting, but in fact
Cell phones are helpful.
they're not distracting, or they haven't considered these other things. That's the part you put in your rebuttal. So you can stop the video and you can do that now, and then you have completed the counterclaim higher level video.
Alrighty.